Welcome to the Pepper Fox Podcast, where we believe that nothing will empower individuals and strengthen humanity more than theater and film. Throughout this podcast, we will be sharing our favorite tips for actors, headshot expertise, and ways we live a creative lifestyle. Tune in for interviews with actors living their dreams and creatives dedicated to enriching their own communities. I'm your host, Bree Welch, actor, headshot photographer, mommy, and lover of Dr. Pepper. Let's do this.
Hello.
Hello.
How's it going?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm so good. Thank you so much
Good.
for coming on my podcast.
Of course. Thank you for having me. I have to tell you, I am a fan.
Oh, stop
I
it.
No, I am. I've seen you perform many times.
Really?
I remember years ago you were in Ghost, and I just thought you were so good. And then I've been a fan of your photography forever. A bunch of my friends have worked with you, and so
Oh my
I've
gosh.
always I've been in New York, so I have never been able to work with you as a photographer, but
know.
I love your work. So I had
Well,
to get that out there.
thank you.
Get it out in the open. I am a fan, so we can move forward from there.
Thank you. I love this starting point. This is how every day should start. Thank you.
Good. Yeah, no, thank you.
Well, I'm so excited because I've heard nothing but great things about you. I'm friends with all your friends. We know all the same people.
All the same people.
And they all just rave about you. And I actually did catch a performance of yours in Mean Girls back before we'd ever connected in the fall. And so I was
amazing.
like, yes, I saw him. I know.
I love that.
So it's a crazy time for Broadway right now.
It is
You're
crazy.
back home.
Yep, I am in Utah right now. I am not in New York. I'm not on Broadway, where my job
What a change of
is.
pace for you.
It's
right?
crazy. Yeah, it's a huge change of pace, but you know what? I've been going on bike rides.
Ugh.
I played a little basketball with my baby brother today, and I'm so
Wow.
bad at that now. So, but it's been a nice change of pace. I mean, maybe nice is not quite the right word. It's been a change. There's been a lot of good things that have come from it. But a lot of people are anxious. A lot of people are uncertain over what's coming. So,
What was the
I'm
tone
definitely
of
one of them.
Yeah. What was the tone of New York when you left?
So, it's like people are a little bit freaked out.
Yeah.
I was actually just FaceTiming my roommate back in New York the other day, just check in and be like, what's happening there? How are people doing since I left? And he was like, yeah, people people, the subway is not as crowded right now, so I guess that's a
I'm
good
sure.
thing. Yeah. But people are just it's a weird state right now. So many people are out of work. Especially those, in entertainment, those in the restaurant business, and so many of us actors, if we're not working in a show, we are working in the restaurant business, and so we're out of work on both accounts.
Both ways. Yeah.
Which is crazy.
So crazy. What a time to be alive, right?
It's a time to be alive. It's what a time.
Well, I'm really grateful for this little break because I've been able to connect with so many people who are home for a second.
Good.
And so it's worked out really well for me. Thank you. But I want to get started by just rewinding a little bit and talking about where'd you get your start in performing?
Okay, so that I was thinking about this, and I was gonna say 7th grade was my first show, but I remembered when I was 6. I was in this little group called the Curtain Call Singers.
Oh, it was
Sure,
adorable.
you've heard of it. It was adorable. But I was kind of a monster. I was we wore these red sequined sweater vests.
Oh my.
That was our main costume with black slacks.
Incredible.
And over white button-ups, I think. And we would we'd do these really hokey cutesy numbers. I remember my big solo we did That Thing You Do.
Yeah.
That was when I got to sing my solo, and I had this big pink blow up guitar that I would air guitar with. But I loved performing, but what I loved more was obeying rules and making sure other people obeyed rules. So we would be I remember, so we would be on stage I remember we would do pre-shows, at the Sierra. theater. So like there
Yeah.
was like the actual musical happening, but before that, the show would start. Like we would go on stage and like do a little number while people were like finding their seats on the grassy hill.
Yes.
And my mom would tell me, so I'd be up there just cheesing it out, grinning and doing, raising my arms in the choreography. And then I would literally stop mid performance and like look at the other kids around me who weren't in a straight line and be like, hey, over here. And like beckon them, like, you need to be standing here. Like, and like, you should be like facing, I'd like kind of push people, make sure they're facing out, get them in a straight line. And then like, as soon as I felt like they were like where they were supposed to be, I'd go back to performing. I was
Wow.
I just took it so seriously. And if people I thought weren't doing it right, I had no problems telling them right then and there
You were
that they
that
were doing it
kid.
wrong.
You were
I
like
was
a
the
born
worst.
dance captain.
Right? Which is
Yes.
so weird because I'm not really much of a dancer, but I love being in charge. I just loved
yeah.
it.
These are good strengths. It's really good to know these things about yourself.
It's their strengths used, with
Yeah.
sometimes I've gotten in a lot of trouble over the years for being too bossy. So it's been a balancing act of where is too far. Context is key with
Right. Like if
that
you're
kind of
the
stuff.
assigned dance captain,
Right,
then
exactly.
absolutely it's your place.
In Curtain Call Singers, I was not the assigned dance captain, it turns out.
Who
So
was?
who was?
Though?
Nobody was. So I
You
stepped
stepped it
up.
up.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a strength. Don't let anyone tell you it's not.
Oh, thank you.
Amazing. So you got your
That was
start. That was like your first taste,
that was
right?
my first taste, and I didn't
Yeah.
do anything else for years as far as performing goes. I was really into school. I did a lot of sports, and then it was not until junior high school in 7th grade when I did my first like real show. It was
Oh
Hello
yeah.
Dolly.
Oh cool.
Yeah, and I was a waiter. And
And
that's
from that point, were you like, I'm gonna do this?
No, I mean I liked it. I definitely
Yeah.
liked it. But I was so interested in too many other things. I liked basketball at that time, which I'm bad at now, but I loved it then. I was a runner. I did student council. Math was actually my big thing. I loved math. So
Yeah.
I thought I wanted to be an
How
accountant.
perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well-rounded.
Well, I guess I think just distracted. I just liked too many things. But yeah, in 7th grade, I remember like doing the show. I was doing Hello Dolly, and I was just a waiter. I was nobody in it. And there was this one number where all of like the regular like couples in the show were doing a big dance number, and the waiters just were standing to the side watching them. And some girl, she had like a feathery headband hat thing that like fell off during the number,
Yeah.
and like just so I was in the middle of the stage, and then the number ended. Everyone went back to their like tables and the scene, and then the lead actors were doing their scene, and there was just like this feather headdress thing in the middle of the stage. So I was like, I'm a rule follower. I like things where they go. So I was like, that's not where that goes. So I just all my hands behind my back, trying to walk all waiterly and I don't know, sophisticated. I walked over and picked it up, walked across the stage, and like handed it to the girl that it belonged to, and I remember my director was like, after the show, I guess I feel a little stupid saying this, but she was like, Jacob, that was amazing. That was, I could not have taught somebody to do that. That you, and then she started calling me like a golden boy because I picked up this headdress. And I just thought I was just like, I'm just trying to put things where they go. I was just my OCD coming into play. But she was like, no, you were those kind of instincts you can't teach. And I was like, I don't know if they were instincts or just me being a little uptight, but she got in my head that I was like special on the stage for whatever reason, like cleaned up after people. So I started doing more, and I still wasn't convinced until high school, and when I first took my first acting class, and then I was like, oh, it's not just fun. It's like I like creating. I like acting. I like not just being like charismatic on stage,
Yeah. Okay, this goes great into my next question, which is like, what is your favorite part of a show's process?
I think I like firsts, like the firsts of things. Like so like the first time everyone has their scripts, and you're sitting around a big table and you read through the script for the first time. Like
Oh, yeah.
I love hearing the words come to life for the first time, giving them life. That's the first time you get to start playing with people and off of people. I love that. I love the first time you get to, with a musical, the first time you get to like sing the songs with the live orchestra doing
Oh
the
my
sitz
God.
probe. Oh, it's just like magic. It comes to life, and it's just always better than you think it's going to be. I
Yeah.
love like the first time you do it with an audience, where it's like that very first time when you're like, oh, like people laughed, like, oh, thank goodness, like that joke worked. Like, it's no longer about just you and your scene partner. It's now about you, your scene partner, and this like hundreds of audience members behind the lights that are now somehow magically a part of it as well. Like I just love like the first of things. I
Oh,
really, yeah.
amazing. I totally, oh my gosh. Yes. I have chills thinking about it. It's amazing, right?
It's
It's
magic,
amazing to
right?
know and have that anticipation of what the show is going to look like and this thing that
Mm-hmm.
just totally takes place in front of your eyes. It's
Yeah,
really cool. I
yeah, for
love
sure.
that. I love that. Okay, so then after high school, you're like, okay, I'm going to do this. Is that right? You went to college
Okay.
for it?
So I went to college. Yeah. So I went to BYU, and I mean, like, I knew I wanted to do it, but I was really pretty scared of the career. I had
Yeah.
so many people. I don't know if you got this, but people would come and like talk to us about the business. They're smoking those cigarettes, and this is what it's about. And you're like this, young, hopeful, doughy-eyed, like, I want to be a star.
Oh,
And
absolutely. Mm-hmm.
the number of people who are just like, if you can do anything
Anything
else,
else?
if
Yep.
you like anything else remotely as much as you like this, if you can even fathom having another career, don't do this. Run. Like, you do
Oh,
not do this. And I was
I
like,
know this
oh,
speech well.
right? You hear it
Yes.
so many times. And I was like, well, I don't know. Like, I mean, I have other interests, but I really love this, and I think I'm pretty good at it. And I don't know. And then, you're also it's so different. I don't know. But as a man, people are like, I had this expectation of I need to be able to raise kids, and I need to be able to
Oh,
have
yeah.
a career that like can afford that. And,
Yeah.
people are like, you're not going to make any money as an actor. So I was just scared. I was like, I'm not sure that, that I'm cut out for this, because everyone keeps telling me that nobody's cut out for it. So,
Oh, absolutely.
you know, so I went to BYU, and, I got into their acting program, the BFA acting program,
Uh-huh.
and I did a year, and then I went on my mission. But even though I got in, I still was like, I'm still not sure. I was like
Yeah, you need
waiting.
a safety plan.
Yeah, and I needed like
Yeah.
some like confirmation, like some like heavenly universe confirmation, like, yes, Jacob, you are meant to do this. I was just waiting for God to like appear before me and be like,
Wouldn't that be
go,
nice?
go for it, right? Like, you can
Yes.
do it. So did that, then went, I don't know if people are like Mormon or LDS who listen to this. So if I say I went on a mission, will that make sense to your
Yeah,
listeners?
yeah. Just like an LDS 2-year mission. Yeah.
Yeah, yep. I went on an LDS 2-year mission after like my freshman year at BYU, and I was thinking like, certainly during this time, it's gonna like distill upon my soul whether or not this is the right career choice for me. And it did
Yeah.
not. It did not do that. I came back and I'm still like, I don't know. Still, I don't know. I don't know if this is right. So then, okay, sorry, I am talking way too much.
I
These are
love this.
long-winded.
This is
Okay,
exactly what we're here for. You talk,
okay,
man.
okay. All right. You just tell me to shut up. You're like, got it, Swain. Move on. So then I got back. I was like 21, and I went back to my high school where my little brother Joseph was doing a production of The Secret Garden.
Cool.
And a lot of people find that show boring, but I think those
Oh,
people are wrong. I
it's
think it's one of the
beautiful.
most beautiful shows in the entire world. My
Oh,
brother was
absolutely.
playing Dickon. I
Oh,
remember, I don't know. I mean, Christian Worrell. It was a star cast. Christian Worrell was whatever the main dude's name is, and Haley
oh, he's
Worrell was.
amazing.
Yeah, he's amazing. Haley
Yeah.
Worrell was in it. We
Oh,
had
gosh.
Georgia Bowman. Like, it was like just like
All
these were
stars.
high schoolers, but like all stars. And I watched that as like a 21-year-old college student, and wept, number one, because it was so beautiful. And then it felt like cogs in my soul, like, finally just like clicked into place. And it was
Yeah.
like, and I just like knew that I had to be a part of this world in one way or another for the rest of my life. And
Yeah.
it took until I was 21 for me to like finally like get that. And like, and it was because I don't know, yeah, I was watching a high school production, Orem High School's production of The Secret Garden.
Who knew?
Right?
And that just made everything click.
Yeah, and then I felt good about moving forward.
I love that.
I actually,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, I just remembered this.
Please tell me.
So my college essays, when I
Yeah.
wrote like a senior in high school, one of the prompts was like, what do you feel like your life's work is?
Oh my gosh.
And at the time,
Loaded.
right? And I wrote my college essay. The whole premise was I don't know what my life's work is, but I know what my life work isn't, and I know it's not to be an actor.
Oh my gosh.
Like what? And I got into college with that. I got a scholarship with that, and I remember feel guilty about that. I feel like I lied to them on accident because
But they loved it. They soaked it up,
they
apparently.
soaked it up. I think people like when people give up dreams like actors. Like, good, we got somebody who's going to be responsible, so we'll bring him into the school.
We don't have to worry about him and if he's going to make it in the economy and
right, exactly. Right, exactly.
Everything else.
Yep. And then I was like, I'm going to be an accountant. I'm going to wear a suit to work every day, and I'm going to, do a 9 to 5. And then I didn't turn out that way. I am a full blown bohemian actor.
Yep.
17-year-old me. It's great. I didn't know what I was talking about, but I was pretty confident that this was not my path.
I love that. It's like, I don't know, you were just in denial of something that was really strong in your soul.
Yeah,
and
I think I was
get it out there and prove it to people that that's how you felt.
Yep.
And then it had the opposite effect.
I think that's exactly it. I my whole life I really wanted to be viewed as somebody who was dependable and responsible and who had thought things through, and choosing to be an actor is none of those things. Yeah. At least from an outside perspective. I mean, I think it requires incredible amount of thought and smarts and all those things. But at the time I was like, well, no, I want to be seen as reliable and like a rock. So that's not an actor. I think I was just scared of perception.
I feel like there was a point right after college that I decided to work for Disney. And I went down to Florida, and it was so nice not to have people ask me about what I'm going to do and how I'm going to support my family. They all were like, oh my gosh, you have insurance. You have this full-time job as an actor, blah, blah, blah. But honestly, if I'm being totally honest, it is the poorest I have ever been and the most destitute I have ever been. Right. But when I'm back here in Utah and I'm got my photography and I've got my acting and whatever, everyone's always checking in with me, being like, hey, how you doing? And I'm like, I am thriving. Like, I have never had so much money and so much security.
Yes.
It doesn't look that way to the outside world.
And people outside of the business, they hear that you're an actor or an artist or a creator of some sort. And the number of times I've been asked since being on Broadway how much I get paid by people is just like it's like whatever, because it's like public knowledge. You can just like Google how much Broadway actors make, but it's like, but even like people, they still think it's like a hobby for me. Just the other day,
I was something else.
Yeah, I was at my I'm in Utah right now, so I was at like the doctor's office, and one of the nurses, she was like, "Okay, so you're on Broadway." So she was like asking me more about it. So do you get paid for that? I was like, yes. What? Yes.
Wow.
Oh, okay, cool. Oh, good. So she thought it was like a hobby for me that I was just like, fast.
Well, I guess I should scratch my next question. Just kidding. So, Jake, how much do you get? I'm just kidding. I'll Google it later.
You Google it later.
But isn't that crazy though that it's somehow just not valid to people?
Yeah, it is. It's not, which is fine. People don't have to understand it. I don't need people's validation anymore, right?
Right. But, we learned to grow out of
that. We're working through that for sure.
Oh, that's so cool. Okay, so you go to BYU, you decide this is it. And you switch over. You're doing an MDT major?
I'm not. I got my BFA in acting, actually. So
awesome.
Straight up acting. I thought I wanted to do MDT at first, but then I didn't. What a dumb
Amazing.
statement. I thought I
But
did, but
then
then I
no.
didn't. Any follow-up
This is the
questions?
thing, is people expect college to be like, okay, and then I made this really clear decision and blah, blah, blah. It's not
Right.
anything like that. We all are making it up as we go.
Oh, for
And that's
sure.
what felt right at the time. It's
Yep.
awesome.
It's exactly what felt right. I was my freshman year, I was like in some classes with some people who were hopefuls to be in the acting program, and then I was in some classes with people who were hopeful to be in MDT. And for whatever reason, the acting class kids, we were just like all just a little bit weirder and a little bit like darker. And I just like felt like they were my family. And so I
Yeah,
was like,
tribe.
if I want to spend 4 years with these people, and like, and then I ended up spending tons of time with NDT people too, and they became my family as well. But at freshman year, that was really, I think, the reason why I went with acting. It was just like, these are who I want to be learning with.
That's
And
the best indication. Who are my
yeah,
people? Where are they?
exactly. And I found them in the acting track, and it's a lot smaller, it's a lot more intimate, which I also liked. And so I spent my college years doing plays and a little bit of film and TV, and like I didn't do any musicals in college. I did Young Ambassadors, so I guess that's pretty musical, but
Yeah,
everything else was all like straight up plays, which was really fun. I missed
that's
that.
really cool. I think
Yeah.
a lot of actors, musical theater actors, maybe take straight up acting for granted, and we're like, oh no, I can sing, so I'll make it up.
Right.
But man, there you can really tell a difference with someone who studied acting.
For sure. And
Yeah.
and there were some amazing actors in the musical theater program as well,
Oh
for
yeah.
sure. But for me,
Oh,
I think that
yeah.
I needed that training, that like focused training to get to where I wanted to be.
Absolutely. Okay, so you graduate and you
Hmm.
move to New York,
It
right?
almost exactly. Yeah. I graduated, and 2 days later, I moved to New York.
Wow.
It was we with the BFA programs, MDT and acting at BYU, we do a showcase in New York,
Cool.
and we flew out, all of us together, right 2 days after graduation, and then a couple of us, me and Brian Russell Carey, we made it like our official move to New York.
You're like, we're not
Um,
coming home. This is it.
this is it. We like packed our bags with us, moved into a tiny. It was a 2-bedroom apartment, but with 4 humans and 2 cats.
Amazing.
It was we were just stacked on top of each other, but we were saving money, and we were just like with a dream. We were just like, we're ready to go. Let's do this.
Oh, absolutely. Okay, so explain to me the time from getting to New York and then to going out and auditioning for Mean Girls.
Okay. I mean, there was some time. I mean, I am coming up
Yeah.
on my 5-year anniversary of New York.
Woohoo!
Woo!
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Um, so I. Ooh, okay. What what plot points are most important here? So I did showcase, and I got myself an agent from that, and some casting directors came, and one of which was the casting director for Book of Mormon, which is the same creative team as Mean Girls. Same director and choreographer, Casey Nicholaw. And so they brought me in for Book of Mormon, and I went through, and they brought me in a lot. I went in like for a few callbacks, and like over like the next couple of years, on occasion they bring me back and for Book of Mormon. So I started to get to know this creative team. Um, John McGinnis, who is Casey Nicholaw's associate choreographer for Book of Mormon and for Mean Girls. And so I started we started getting to know each other a little bit.
Yeah.
Never booked Book of Mormon. Then did a few gigs. Went on tour with Elf the musical.
Oh,
Then
so fun.
so it was a
I
blast.
love that show.
I do too. It is actually a really good show.
It's adorable. I love it.
I love the music. It's like, and it's way dancier than people expect. I think of all like the movies turned musicals, I think it's up there. I think it's
It's
up
a
there with
great
like Legally
adaptation.
Blonde. It's a great adaptation.
Oh, yeah. Well, and it's so nice to have a fresh Christmas show to go to.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes.
We miss
Hello.
those.
We do. And um interestingly enough, not I didn't work with Casey Nicholaw, but Casey Nicholaw, he was also Elf when it was on Broadway. That was his show as well. So I was like getting to know his work. And then I worked at Goodspeed Opera House in Connecticut. I did Bye Bye Birdie. And then the next year I played Will Parker in Oklahoma there. And at this point it's like 2000, what, 18, I want to say? No,
Okay.
2017. And then I took like 2 years where I didn't do any musicals. Or I started doing like more TV film. I did some like commercials, I did some independent stuff, and that was really my focus.
And this was all through your agent, correct?
I actually dropped my agent after the first 3 years. We separated.
Oh, really?
They were great, but they represented a lot of dancers,
Yeah.
and I just like wasn't a dancer, and so it was just always like a little bit of an odd match. So
Yeah.
we parted ways. We actually parted ways after do you know Marie Kondo?
Yeah.
Okay, so I like read her book about like what is it, the magic of tidying up or whatever it's called.
Yes.
So I read her book and then I did that. I went through my apartment and got rid of 11 garbage bags worth of things, and then
Amazing. Who knew you
like
had 11 garbage bags worth in your apartment?
who knew in that tiny little apartment, like where was I keeping it all?
Yeah.
So I like learned how to like let go of things. Like
Yeah.
I get so sentimental about things and I'm scared of letting things go. And I really think that because I like practiced letting go of my personal things, I was able to then let go of my then agents. I was so scared
Yeah.
of that, like ruining a relationship or
Oh,
being on
sure.
my own.
Well, I think so many
So
people from the outside world be like, wait, what? Your whole goal is to get an agent. How could you? But
right,
if they weren't a good fit and they
exactly.
weren't giving you the work that you needed,
Yeah.
it's okay to be picky.
Exactly, and I wasn't giving them the work that they wanted. It was just like yeah, it was I was really scared to let them go, but I think by practicing letting other things go that weren't serving me or not, sparking joy, I was able to do that. So
That's
I
awesome.
did that, and then I was agentless for almost a year.
Okay.
At the beginning of that year, I went and had my first audition for Mean Girls.
Oh, cool.
And
And
I
this
was
was through a new agent,
yes, well,
or this
yeah,
is completely on your own.
on my own. Had no
Cool.
went into Mean Girls. I had it was like an invited dress, not invited dress. What I'm saying, invited dance call. uh,
Cool. So
so
that means that no one off the street can come in and do it.
exactly,
It's
not for that one. That
okay.
was they invited people that they knew, and I did so bad. I I had a buddy that was also there at that audition. That he just moved to the city and it was his first big Broadway audition. And for whatever reason, I was like, I want to make sure he feels comfortable. So I just like did not pay attention. I just was like I was just like focused on him, which like
You're
makes
so
me sound
accommodating.
no, I know. It makes me sound way more of a hero than I actually am. I was just being in his business. Like I should have just stayed in my lane. So we did the combo and I got cut immediately. Like that was it.
They're like, okay, go home, sir.
Thank you. And I was like, got it. Thank you very much. So it did not go any further at that point. And then like a few months later, I like started going to like I went to like a couple auditions for Mean Girls, like where I would just go and sing. And these weren't invited. Like anybody can go and audition as long as you get into the room. And I like sang. I sang what I sing. I sang like a Britney Spears song. I sang "Hit Me, Baby, One More Time."
Stop it.
Yes. So I
This is
did that,
amazing.
and then so they remembered me from that, I think, and then
They're like, yeah, the Britney Spears kid. Yeah,
right,
absolutely.
right, exactly, and then
At
they
this
actually
point, were you equity?
yes, I got my equity card a year after I got to New York when I worked at Goodspeed Opera House for the first year. This was like 2016. Uh, I was working. I did Bye Bye Birdie there, and they gave me my card, which was really
Awesome.
a surprise. Actually, they hired me at that theater. It's an equity theater, but they have like four contracts ish that are non-equity. So they
Okay.
originally offered me a non-equity contract, but then they like called my agent back and they're like, actually, things got shifted around. We want to give him his card. I was like, okay, cool.
Okay, I will take that. Thank you.
I did nothing to change their minds. They just, I don't know. I just lucked out that way. So I had my
That's
card at that point.
cool. So you go in and sing your Britney Spears.
So I'm
They
Britney
remember
Spears.
you.
They remember me from that, and then they invited me. Oh wait, okay, I'm talking way too much. But there was
Great.
another show on Broadway called The Prom that's closed now, which is such a bummer because it was so good.
I'm
I
so
loved it.
sad I didn't get to see it. I missed
Oh,
it by a week.
a
A
week.
week.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm so sorry for you.
I know. Me too.
Same. And this was also a Casey Nicholaw show. Same director and choreographer as
Oh,
Prom,
wow.
as Mean Girls and Book of Mormon. And it's also like Mean Girls. It's a bunch of high schoolers. like dancing around and
Yes.
doing like kind of teeny bopper hip hop stuff. So kind of like some similar vibes, but totally different show. Very wonderful, heartwarming. Anyway, so hilarious. And so I went in for prom a lot after I sang for Mean Girls. They brought me in for prom, and I got to like final callbacks for that maybe December of 2018, and did not book that. And then January of 2019, I got invited to another invited dance call for Mean Girls, which I was like, okay, did not do so too hot at this a year ago, but I went and I was actually focused this time. And they made a cut after the first combo. Then they sent some boys home, and then they did another combo and they made another cut. And then eventually it was 5 of us guys left, and we went home, worked on stuff, and then we came back. Oh, and we did some singing for them as well. And then we came back, and it was the final. We had one more callback, then we came back. It was a final callback with all the creatives, and it was so that meant Casey and there's 2 Caseys actually involved with the show, and the book writer. There's Tina Fey was there, who wrote the book, and her husband Jeff, who did the music, and Nell Benjamin, who did lyrics, and we danced for them, and we sang for them, and I sang Britney Spears again for them, and
Yes!
it was great.
I'm so happy about it.
I got Tina Fey to laugh, which I was very excited about.
That is the victory of your life. Like, you need a medal.
It was. I was so happy, and it was. I've done a lot of auditions over my life, and especially in the last 5 years, I've just done so many, and they run the gamut on how you feel at them. But this callback with 5 of us guys, it was the best. It was just everybody. The 5 of us, we were all connected, and we knew that there were 2 spots open for in Mean Girls. So we were 5 of us going for 2 spots, and we were. It was just so. It wasn't competitive, but it was like everyone was like working so hard. They were giving their all. It was supportive, and we went to the hallway and we all just kind of like held hands. And Kevin, my buddy Kevin, he was like, we're just, whatever happens, we're just lucky that we got to spend our day doing this. Like, people would kill to be in this room with us, and good luck. And anyway, it was awesome. And
that
then
the coolest.
It was the coolest. So that all happened. We all walked away feeling great. And I did not have an agent at this time, so I didn't hear anything for a couple of days. So I emailed them and I was like, "Hey, just thanks for bringing me in. Does the team have any feedback for me?" Which is like a secret way of saying, "Did I get it?" Like,
absolutely.
And I did not get it.
And you're like, really?
And it was cool. They were like, there's no feedback. They loved you. It was just not quite the right fit for the tracks that were open. We'd love to bring you back on the tour. Let us know if you have booked anything else. Because blah, blah, blah. Which was like, cool. Like, I was, at that point, I kind of, in my head, been like, I want to do TV and film anyway. Like, this would be an amazing thing. I would, Broadway's a dream, but like, it's okay. I'm not really a dancer. All the things to make yourself feel better. Like, it's fine. So, 3 weeks later, I was working my side job at this restaurant that I work at. I guess I don't work there anymore, but I was working at, and I was working a double shift, polishing silverware in the back. And my friend Katie, she was back there with me, and she was like, "Hey, whatever happened with Mean Girls?" And I was like, "Oh, I didn't get it. It was good, but it didn't work out." And she's like, "Oh, cool. Next time, and just good. That's just, you show that you could do it, whatever." I was like, "Yeah, I'm not too worried. It's okay." At this point, I'd gotten kind of over it. And then I looked down at my phone while we were polishing silverware, and I have a missed call from a New York number, and then I got an email right after it saying, from the casting director, Bethany Knox, just saying, all it said was, "Please call Telsey," and the phone number. And like, my stomach dropped. I was like, I have to go. I
hold on, wait.
Phone and just like ran out, like went downstairs, like where our little like supply closet is, where we like change into our uniforms.
Yeah.
And I just like called her, and I was like, trying to like act cool and like until my breathing. Yeah. Hi, hey, hey Beth, what's up? What's going on?
Yeah, playing it so cool.
Playing it so cool. And she's like, "Hey, just want to let you know that you are getting an offer for Mean Girls." And I was like, "What?" Because I already knew that the two other guys that I love had already gotten the roles, and I was like, "What? Are you like? What is? How did this happen?" She was like, "Yeah, another guy left the show, and so there's another track that was open, and so so she was like, yeah, just so you know, like." And this is the part. I mean, this I'm gonna brag just for a second.
Please do.
She was like, I had to tell you that Tina Fey was really the one that was rooting for you. She was the one that was like, that guy's just so funny, and I just really like him. And so
You need to put that on your gravestone. That's how much you need to brag about it.
Yeah, how do we make that succinct and a nice little short epitaph on my gravestone?
Yeah. Tina Fey fought for me.
Right. And I was like, I don't even care about the job. I was like, does this mean I have a new best friend? Like, what's happening? Like, what?
Yeah, when are we hanging out?
Can I call her? What's her phone number? Like, what's happening? So, so I got then I got the job, and then I like, I'm freaking out. I wasn't supposed to tell anybody at that point because there wasn't an official contract. So, I went out and I called my family, and I'm, people are crying and freaking out. Then I went and I had like a voice lesson in between my double shift I had to run to. And like my voice teacher, Chelsea Wilson, who I love so much, I just went to her and I just like wept. Like we just cried together for 20 minutes. And I was just like, I feel like this is God telling me, like, or giving me a chance to, like, I don't know, like, this feels like a catalyst for my life to just like turn a new leaf in every sense of the word. And like, he's giving me a chance to like change things and grow. And I'm just like a blubbering mess.
I would be too. I get it.
Oh man, it was such a shock. And then we started rehearsals, and of those 5 guys that were in final callbacks with me, 4 of the 5 of us all ended up booking Mean Girls on Broadway.
Oh, that's awesome!
Which is just
and it's such a great group. How cool!
It was so, and I just love them all so much, and it was just like couldn't have had a better happy ending.
That's amazing, because I mean, it's so easy to feel so competitive, and it just goes to show you some positivity and some like cheering on of your fellow human beings can really read in an audition room.
Yeah, I think there's so much of the mentality sometimes in our business of, oh, you got that because you got that means I didn't get it.
Exactly.
And I'll see it across like genders too. Like I know a guy who'll be mad when a girl books something. I was like, that was never your role to have. Like, it's like
I have people who ask me about being married to someone who does theater, and they're like, "Oh, so is that hard for you?" And I'm like, "No, we're not even considered for the same things. Like, I don't understand."
Right, never. And like, I understand. I've been disappointed plenty of times when I don't book something, but or even get a call back. But it's so wonderful when you can get to a point where you're just happy for somebody when their shot comes along, because
absolutely,
you get them. I think people get a lot of shots in life. I don't think there's just one that if you blow it, that's it.
Oh, totally. Okay, I need to know about your opening night. What was opening night for you on Broadway? What did it feel like?
It was crazy. It was, to be honest, kind of a blur. Like I don't remember like being able to look anybody in the eyes like on stage with me, because I was just so like terrified and like trying to like find my numbers on stage and remember what I'm doing. And it was like a few shows
getting, like plugged in, right?
Yeah, it is wild. And there was 4 of us all start entering the show the same night, so it was like the energy was high. When there's one person entering the show, the energy's high, but 4 of us, it was just like that shakes things up in such an exciting way. And at the very top of the show, and also like one of my best friends from college, Becca Peterson, she is in Mean Girls as well, and she's the dance captain, and she's the best. And so she taught me the show. And like so she was there, so that was just so special. And then I had like, I don't know, like 20 friends and family who all came out for my opening night. And right at the top of the show, the main Katie Heron, who's like the Lindsay Lohan character in Mean Girls, she's in Africa at the beginning, and then she transitions and moves to America, and it's her in this big opening number where she's in high school for the very first time in her life. And all of us, we ensemble members, we all run out and like start dancing basically. And me and this other guy, it's me and Kevin, who are both debuting our Broadway debuts that night. we kind of like start that whole thing, and we both come down stage together, facing out towards the audience, and like do this like move, and the audience exploded. Like they like started like they were like because they're our friends. Like it was just like people who love
Yes.
us, and they just like screamed for us, and it was like this, and I was just like, this is living. I felt so alive, like knowing that I just had done something that like had elicited a response like that, and knowing that like these people out there, they have my back, and they're here for me, and they're for us, and we're here for each other, and it was just like it was incredible.
That's amazing.
The bummer with that was that I really quickly was like, okay, so I deserve a cheer every time I do this dance move,
Right.
and it didn't happen the next
You're
show.
like, where are my people?
Come on, guys, I'm doing the same thing. I'm doing that dance move. You don't like that?
It's addictive, right? That response, and you're like, wait.
It only took one hit, and I was addicted. I was like, I expect this and no less every time now. So I got disappointed, but that's the way it is.
Life.
Every time. Yes, it is.
That is amazing. Do you have any like fun stories from your time at Mean Girls? Backstage stories or onstage flubs, anything?
Oh yeah, I mean definitely some flubs. I remember sometimes like I've never done a show this long before. I'm coming up on my year anniversary of the show, and I've never done it run so long ever. So there comes a point where your body just like starts like going into autopilot, which is dangerous. If you don't, because I just kind of like blacked out one time. We're dancing and we're singing, and all of a sudden I like didn't know what was happening, and I started singing loudly like a full measure before everyone else.
Perfect.
It was pretty horrifying.
That's amazing.
Oh, it was so embarrassing. So I mean, there's been like moments like that of like just like flubs.
That's amazing. Because I think when we see Broadway shows, us from the outside, you just think this is a well-oiled machine. Nothing ever goes wrong here. And we're all human.
We're all human, and they let somebody like me in who's very human, and some things can go wrong.
Well, it's amazing too. I think the most mistakes I ever make is when I'm really comfortable with a show and I stop thinking about it.
Yeah, exactly. We get a little bit too sure of ourselves.
Yeah, it's like that moment when you start driving home and then you're home and you're like, how did I get here?
Yes. It's exactly that. I'm also about halfway through my run at Mean Girls, I became the understudy for Aaron Samuels as well.
Oh, awesome.
And I was not like they had rehearsed me. I had a couple of rehearsals, and then it was like the Tuesday, it was in October, that I was like officially like the understudy for him, but I wasn't supposed to go on for him for like a few weeks. So I was like, I have some time to like figure this out.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't quite know it. And then I was on my way to work that day, and it was like an hour before the show started, and I got the call. I was like on the train, and my stage manager called, and she's like, "Hi, it's happening. You're going on." And my stomach just dropped, and that's one of those moments where you're like, you can't black out. You're just like, you're so hyper aware, and I was like, I don't even know what I know. I don't know what scenes I need to review. I don't even know. But it was like, it was incredible. I mean, it was terrifying because I was like, I just had to walk on stage and like hope for the best and pray that it worked out. But it was, those moments like that are what live theater is all about. That's when the cast all comes together and helps you out. That's when you have to just like trust that like the theater gods will catch you, that like you've done enough of your homework, and that's when those are the shows you remember. Those are the shows that like will stick with you forever.
100%. And you can like sit there, you'll never be ready, honestly.
No,
and then all of a sudden you're like, hey, just gotta go and see what I got.
I think I'm glad that's the way it happened. Just like rip the Band-Aid off first time.
Don't overthink it.
Exactly, because like you literally can't. All you can do is step on that stage and open your mouth.
Yeah, and you really have to trust your body, right?
Yeah.
Trust that your mind did its homework. Trust that your body knows what it's doing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, amazing. And just listen, and just listen to the people on stage with you. There's a story that's being told, and there's a way that story is told, and if you're actually listening and responding, you'll do it. You'll make it happen. It's as soon as we get inside of ourselves and only start looking at ourselves and worrying, am I right? Am I wrong? Am I staying in the right place? That we stop listening, that everything will fall apart.
Absolutely. Oh, I love that. And I think it's just trusting the script too, knowing that it's written well enough that you are being a human reacting to other humans.
Yes, totally.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I love it. Okay. What are ways that you've found to like keep working on your craft when you're booked or when you're not booked? What are ways that you do that?
I am a huge fan of taking class. I take an acting class every Friday morning. I've been doing it for the last 2 years.
Wow.
I just find, especially when you're doing something, well, I don't know. It's been helpful in every phase of my life. It's been helpful right now as I'm, sometimes you get stuck in a rut doing the same show over and over again. You lose sense of your creativity and
Yeah.
your a sense of being alive in that sense, in your creativeness, in your creativity. So I take a class. Taking class during this phase has been so important. Back when I wasn't doing any shows, I would take class, and it was like the one outlet for growth
Oh, yeah.
and mistakes. And this class I take, it's an acting for film and TV class. So we're like on camera, and our coaches. I work with Jessica Cummings, and then I work with Bob Krakauer, and they're just the best. They're so good. I feel like because of them, I've been able to grow so much, and finally understand like the camera and frames, and these people you're in class with for 2 years, they become your family, like they just yesterday we had a big Zoom call. Is it Zoom
Yeah.
conference
Yeah.
call? With like all of
Conference.
our,
Yeah.
yeah, with like all of the kids, the people, it's like 15 of us in that class. And we're all across the country right now. We all ran from New York because of the coronavirus, and there's a
Right.
few that are still in New York who like are hunkering down, but just all checking in. And yeah, so I love classes.
How
Huge fan.
cool.
I'll
How
do
do
like
you find your classes?
it depends. So this class I'd been trying to get into forever. Bob Krakauer is like this. It, he's incredible. He's like one of the top film and TV coaches in the country.
Yeah.
He's like people have him on set all the time to like work with big time stars. So he teaches in New York, and it's kind of a just luck of the draw to get into his class. Um,
Yeah.
I've been trying to get into his class for 2 years. It's kind of like an online thing. Like a class will be announced and it's full in less than like 3 seconds. It's just like
Yeah.
it's just crazy. So finally, I just knew about him through actor friends of mine, and I had some agents and some casting directors who were like, yeah, if you want to take class, like this is the person to take from. And I finally got in, and then I found a community there, and his method really resonated with me and worked. I don't know if some methods don't work with everybody. He's really behavior based, and he talks a lot about the picture and the frame, and he's all about script analysis and relationship. He doesn't talk at all about like in my BFA experience at BYU, which I loved. It was all about tactics and objective and all that, and he hates those words. We don't talk about any of that. It's just about like what's actually happening on the page. So do that.
Oh, cool.
It's fantastic. And I it's a lot of failing and like learning how to fail in a way that doesn't mess you up in the future. Like I feel like
Yeah.
sometimes when I would fail, I would be like so in my head, like, oh man, I suck at acting, and then you're so much worse the next take.
Oh,
But
yeah.
you fail enough times, you're like,
Well,
can't be any
what do you
worse
do?
than that. I might as well just go for it again. Which has been really helpful for me. So I've done that. I've done some improv classes as well, which has also been an exercise in failure, just like learning how to fail. I feel like most of my classes, that's what it is. Come to think of it, it's like learning how to fail and then get up back up quickly.
Yeah. Learning that that's okay.
Yeah, because as
That's
soon as you
amazing.
like start getting bogged down by your mistakes, you're not somebody that anyone wants to work with, and you're
Oh, yeah.
useless to everyone else around you. You're like,
Especially in a
man, I
live
suck.
performance.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So it's about getting out of your head when you make mistakes
Hmm.
and being gentle with yourself and being like, yep, that's just how it's supposed to be. And then finding great work out of being
Yes.
willing to fail.
Yes.
That's
Absolutely.
amazing.
Absolutely.
We all need that, especially me and you who are OCD perfectionists, right?
Yes, we do.
I
Just
really struggle
let
with
it go.
that.
Me too. And I'm learning that like all that is about that's just because I'm too self-focused. Um,
Yeah.
I'm thinking about me and what others think about me and how I'm doing and all of a sudden and I'm getting down on myself and it's because I'm not thinking about other people. And
Yeah.
it's a selfish move, I think, that I fall into so many times.
Yeah. I love that perspective because it really the second that you can think, okay, how can I project this energy and give people around me what they need, then you'll
Yes.
stop thinking about yourself,
Yeah.
and then your performance will magically be better.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden you are better because you stop
Yeah,
thinking about yourself so much.
such a good lesson. I
Yeah.
love that. Before we started recording, you also talked about being involved in new works and how you like
Yes.
to jump in on projects like that.
Yes. That's really that's my favorite thing. That's really why I was really drawn to acting. My dream is I get a career where I get to do a million different things all the time. Like I'm
Yep.
not stuck in one thing forever um and that's I think new works is how I kind of get that satisfied. Um
Yeah.
yeah, I have some friends who are some playwrights, some screenwriter friends, Ted Bushman, Whitney Hewlands, um who I love doing their work. So we'll do they'll call me up like, hey, we're doing a reading of this, and I'll on a Monday night, which is my off night for Broadway, and I get to go and put something on its feet for the first time. Or we'll work on a new musical of Ted's. We've been working on one of his shows for a couple of years now, and we did like a concert of all of the stuff, some of the scenes and some of the songs at one of the local cabaret joints in New York. And that kind of stuff, I just love it. I love being able to be the first person to touch something that
Mhm.
I don't have any kind of idea of what I think it needs to look like because I've seen someone else do it. I love being able to see a script from the beginning and see how it's grown and transformed and be able to like grow along with that.
Yeah.
Um, I just love it. I love what I mentioned this earlier, but I love being around a table with a new script, whether that's for a movie or for a play or any musical. I love that excitement and that sense of unknown of what
Yeah.
is this going to be a thing? Where is this going to go? Like every new project, you're like, this could be the next Broadway hit. This could be the next movie at Sundance. This could be, you literally
Yeah.
never know. And every script baby has so much potential. And so I'm a little bit naive there because so few things get past the drawing room board, but I just love the potential with new
Yeah, but it doesn't
works.
mean they're not worth exploring, even if
Exactly.
nothing comes from them.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
just love it. And I love seeing my friends who are writers. I love it. I'm so inspired by their work and by their initiative to create always. I'm somebody who I do well with creating when I have some structure, like a script, but I'm
Yeah.
so in awe of those I know that they create something out of nothing with no
Yes.
structure. It's
I
incredible.
totally agree. I'm the same way. Even with photography, I mean, so much of what I bring to the table is from what I see and what the person brings.
Hmm.
It's not completely from scratch.
Right.
And so I'm very much the same way. Like I like creating in a structure,
Yes.
which is fine too.
Which is fine too. It's just a different way to do it.
Yeah, but it's really like it makes you yeah, I'm totally in awe of people who can just get stuff out of thin air.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
So what is the greatest lesson that you've learned from your time in New York?
I my greatest lesson I've learned from New York. I think that it's that if when you blow it, there is another opportunity that's coming your way.
I love it. Not
I
if, when.
Yeah, when you blow it, that's not the end all be all. And that's sometimes it's like you just blow it because you weren't there. I remember getting like a really, what I thought was a huge audition, and I happened to be out of town, like on like a family vacation, and I was just hitting myself. I was like, I was trying so hard to get back to New York. So like, this is my one shot. Like, this is the shot. People say, you get one shot at, whatever is you're going to be your big break. And I thought, this was it. This is my thing. And I couldn't get back to the city. And I missed the audition. And I was like, that was it. I blew it. I wasn't there. I didn't show up. And more things came, it turned out.
Isn't that weird?
Yes. And like, I mentioned I blew my first audition for Mean Girls, and now I'm in Mean Girls. Like,
yeah,
I've had some bad auditions where I made a fool of myself. I did so bad in front of important people, and I walked away from them thinking, I'm never going to work in this business ever again. I made a fool of myself, and opportunities still come. If you keep showing up, they'll keep showing up as well. Good things will continue to come. And if you didn't get it this time, it wasn't yours to begin with.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. Okay. I'm going to wrap up. I want to know, how can we follow you? How can we get you on Instagram? Do you have a website? We can find your stuff.
Oh, we got
us links.
Yes. Okay. All right. Instagram is at Jacob Monte, Monte.
Is that your middle name?
It is Jacob Monte Swain.
Oh my gosh. We're diving deep in this interview.
We're diving deep.
Wow.
the inside facts. At Jacob Monte, follow me there. I got a website. It's www.jake-swain.com. You can Google me on YouTube if you're interested.
Yeah, you can. I'm going to
do it. And if you guys come to New York and you come see Mean Girls, well, I guess you can't right now because we don't do.
Not now, but like,
it'll pass. Calm down. Look me up at the stage door, and that's another place to find me.
Yes.
Show.
Oh my gosh! Any last minute advice for people moving to New York? What would you tell them?
Be brave. Make brave choices, I guess would be maybe a way I'd like to say it. Like, do things you think a brave person would do.
If you can't be brave yourself, act do what a brave person would do. Yeah.
Show up to the audition that you think you're not ready for. Just show up, be kind, work so hard, and make brave choices. I think that is the thing that served me the most. I pretended to be brave, and things work out sometimes when you do that.
Jake, thank you so much. This has been invaluable,
Thank you. Thank you, Bree. This has been fun.
Enjoy your quarantine. It's going to be just the break you were looking for. Right. And then you're going to hit the ground running when you go back to New York.
We need this. The world needs this, I think. There must be some good that comes of this because it is rough. So there's got to be.
We're going to need an escape.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thank you. You too, Bree. Bye-bye.
You've been listening to the Pepper Fox Podcast. Love what you heard today? Go ahead, share it with your friends, and leave us a review. Get more actor tips and resources by visiting pepperfoxphoto.com and check us out on Instagram at pepperfoxphoto.